Shit!
Sup peeps in the interwebs, I'm the WBG, and I feel the need to explainify why Carfax Asshole is the worst game of all time. I've seen better game tournaments, an art form of which I partake frequently. I sniff gas. That's right, I sniff gas. And even that is a more satisfying experience than playing this stupid piece of stupid. I was a big fan of the Carfaxes back when I was a kid. Ever since I popped Carfax 64 into my Sega Genesis, it was love at first sight. It had talking puppet-looking animals, which is my favorite kind of animal after all. It had undoubtedly the most amazing graphicas in the whole system. The controls were easy to get used to and not convoluted or oddly mapped at all. The writing and voice acting were amazing and perfect, because it was one of the first games to do voice acting, so therefore it's good. And the plot was wholeheartedly original and totally didn't recycle the first game's story in any way whatsoever. Bottom line, it was the best game of all time because I spent a lot of time with it as a kid, so therefore it's perfect in every conceivable aspect. And making a better, or even a good Carfax game is thoroughly impossible and doomed from the start. Hell, the remake of Carfax 64 and the Nintendo PMS even sucked, because it's not the original, so therefore it's bad. Except for Carfax Adventures. That game was perfect because the dialogue and voice acting were even better than in Carfax 64. There was a Scottish rock monster. Everybody spoke in a dinosaur language for the first 2 hours of the game, and Fox could walk around and whack dinosaurs with a stick instead of shooting them. Finally! A way for me to run around and whack people with a stick and not get arrested. From the very moment that I saved my first butt-crack Zoa Spirit to when Andros showed up out of nowhere for no reason, I knew I was playing an instant classicama. A perfect game. 10 out of 10. There was also a Carfax game on the Super Nintendo, but who cares about that? Absolutely no one. I was totally satisfied with playing Carfax 64 and Carfax Adventures over and over again, because they're totally perfect in every conceivable aspect. But one day Shigeru Miyamoto suffered a brain contortion and decided to make an honest-to-God new Carfax game, and the series was ruined forever. The first problem with Carfax Asshole because it's apparent right when you boot up the game. As you can see, all the characters have been given minor redesigns. What were they thinking? Why does the bunny guy have glasses? Why does Snoopy have eyelids? Why are they wearing futuristic space outfits? None of these changes were necessary. How dare this new game on a technically superior system attempt to slightly modify the designs of my favorite characters? It's a disservice to the fans. But I digest. So you start at the first level of the game, and some guy named Oikini is attacking the Lilat system. Oikini? You mean Andrew? How dare they give this character a last name, and then proceed to consistently refer to him by said last name? In all hairnets though, this first flying level isn't the worst thing ever. The controls are tit, the graphics are swell drawn, and all in all it's enough like Carfax 64, the only truly good game in the series, that I can't hate it too much. Too bad they had to ruin it with the shittily good voice acting. In Carfax 64 and Carfax Adventures, the writing and voice acting were cheesy and bad on purpose. They were games about a bunch of puppet-looking animals that fly around in airplanes and shoot monkeys after all, so therefore I am not entitled to expect any sort of quality standard whatsoever out of the voice acting. But in Carfax Asshole, Nintendo not only had the nerve to change the voice cast from Carfax 64, but they also tried to improve the writing and voice direction. Gross! Why does Falco have a Brooklyn accent? Why does Peppy not sound like a hillbilly anymore? Why does Snoopy sound like a boy? Why can I take Starwolf seriously? Get these imposters with their good voice acting out of my Carfax game. Alright, so I beat Oikini. Well, at least the stinker was mercifully short. All in all, Carfax Asshole is... Wait.
What? Reinforcements?
That doesn't look friendly.
Such strange thought patterns.
No, it can't be.
What the Farkle? Is that a robot bug? In my Carfax game? Oh hell no! I hate when games suddenly become unrealistic out of nowhere. Anyways, after defeating the giant robot bug with an anthropomorphic fox that flies around in an airplane that runs on an infinite supply of fuel, the Carfax team reports to Cornwallia. Apparently these robo-bugs are called apomoroids, and they can infect organic and non-organic life forms to do their bidding. Carfax is contracted by General Pooper to stop the apomoroids at all costs. What kind of a stupid plot for a Carfax game is this? Why couldn't they just recycle the plot of the Super Nintendo game like they did in Carfax 64? I mean, it was fine in Carfax Adventures because there were dinosaurs in it, but this game doesn't even have that. Nope, not at all. After doing some research, I found out that you don't even get to go back to Dinosaur Planet at all! The amount of time of which this is ruined is forever. How dare they try to do something new and exciting with the direction of the overarching series narrative? But believe you me, this isn't the worstest part. So you know how in Carfax 64 you spent the whole time flying around, with the occasional Landmaster level thrown in? Well, in Carfax Asshole, there are only 3 R-Wing levels. In almost every other level, you spend almost the entirety on foot. What the hell were they thinking? The gameplay in Carfax 64 was perfect and free of flaws. It never got stale, boring, or old. Why can't they just keep making the same game over and over again, like New Super Mario Bros? People love those games because they're the exact same thing as what we grew up with. So therefore it's good. Controlling Fox on foot was fun in Carfax Adventures because Fox could whack dinosaurs with a stick, but in Carfax Asshole, he could swap between a variety of weapons to shoot at robots and mechs, which is dumb and stupid and dumb. How dare they try to diversify the gameplay experience by offering a thoroughly logical extension of the Unreal shooter gameplay style of the previous games? Ruined forever! But what really sucks is the control amounts. You know how Metroid Prime, which is one of the bestest games of all time by the way, had the tank control scheme where you could strafe with the L button and free aim with the R button, and everybody was thoroughly cool and satisfied with that? Well guess what? They brought it back in Carfax Asshole, and because this game's not Metroid Prime, it is therefore thoroughly terrible and awful. I mean the tank controls were fine in Resident Evil 4, which is also one of the bestest games of all time, released the exact same year as this game, but it sucks because this game also isn't Resident Evil 4, so therefore it's bad. And what's worse is that there are no alternate control schemes. None whatsoever. Not even one with dual analog control that addresses all my potential complaints. Nope, it's just awful because I'm predisposed to hate it. So therefore it's bad. All of these ground missions are thoroughly tedious and terrible to play. The magical formula of the Unreal's R-Wing missions in Carfax 64 never got like this. There was tons of variety. You could fly forward and shoot, and there were enemies. The ground missions, on the other foot, are repetitive and forgettable, and I have no intention of explaining why or how, for the sake of keeping this review within an arbitrary time limit for the sake of raking in the views. Note to self, make sure there is extra boobage in the thumbnail. P.S. Don't read. Oops. Why did I write oops on the script? Wait, I wrote a script? I don't even know how to read. But the absolute terriblest part about Carfax Asshole is that the game is way too short. What were they thinking? This game can be beaten in about 3 hours. Carfax 64, a game that I constantly praise for having a high degree of replay value based on its short length and arcade gameplay style, is significantly, ridiculously longer, and its multiple pathway system allowed the player to make immense changes to the direction and outcome of the story to a large assortment of endings. In Carfax Asshole, there are only 10 levels, which are all much longer than the levels in 64, and there's only really one ending. What the hell were they thinking? It's not like there are multiple difficulties to play, which change up the level design slightly, or that there's even an unlockable survival mode if I want my classic Carfax action. It's just way too short and has absolutely no replay value whatsoever. And I dare someone to try and attack my logic, because my logic is tighter than my anus after serving a nickel. Man, this game is so inexplicably shitty that I'm gonna have to go balls to the walls if I'm gonna make it through this review. Time for a patented whiny bitch frustration montage.
Every single drop of all you got. Every single drop of all you got. Every single bit of all you have. Every single bit of all you have. you got.
With some toil and toil, I managed to make my way to the second mission of the game. Oh shit! We don't have the budget for another montage. Just cut to the final mission of the game.
2,000 years later.
Carfax has to make his way through the center of the Ephemeroid planet in order to destroy the robo-bugs once and for all. But how will he get past the shield?
Out of the way, everybody!
Peppy?
Damage capacity exceeded.
Too bad. We're going out in style.
Peppy, you can't die!
Yes, this is my duty. And now you must fulfill your duty as well, Fox.
Peppy!
What are you fools doing? That shield will be right back! Go! Get out of here!
That's right, folks. They did it. They killed off Bucky O'Hare. The amount of irate I am currently experiencing is this many. Who was the dumb skull that decided that it was a good idea to offer some sort of emotional moment as a means of strengthening characterization and the emotional impact of the narrative? And now that Bucky's dead, who's gonna tell me to do a barrel roll now? This game is not thoroughly awful and has no redeeming facets or qualities whatsoever. I might have been able to make it past all the other stupidity of this game, but I can't take it anymore. I had to take Carfax's asshole back to the taco truck because this game is full awful. The graphics are okay, and the music is good because it's remixed from Carfax 64, so therefore it's good. But everything else is terrible, mostly because they changed things from the way they were in Carfax 64 and Carfax Adventures, which were perfect in every conceivable aspect. Fox McCloud should be flying around in an R-Wing at all times. If he does anything else, then it's automatically bad. Unless if he's whacking dinosaurs with a stick, because that's cool. What I'm saying is that I'm completely fine with controlling Fox on foot in a 10-hour-long Zelda clone in which he can't shoot, and the Carfax license is not put to effective use. But I am absolutely, entirely against him running around on foot, shooting enemies and dodging attacks, and a logical third-person shooter extension of the Unreal shooter gameplay present in previous games. Running around in an R-Wing is perfect and never gets stale for some reason, but the third-person shooter gameplay in Carfax asshole, despite having many similarities to the gameplay present in such games as Call of Duty or Uncharted, games that I consistently give high scores and praise for being the bestest games of all time, is somehow awful, repetitive, and stupid for some reason, because my magical script says so. All in all, Carfax asshole is one of the worstest games of all time and should be burnt at stake. I would rather suck the dry farts from an old man's crusty pingus. I would rather bathe in a jacuzzi full of diarrhea. I would rather eat the toenail clippings from the bottom of a men's room wastebasket. I would rather play an Xbox One Connect game. No, I could never resort to that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go to the McDonald's to go get myself a Fox McCloud McMeal. But before I do, I want to clarify some misconceptions in some of my video rows. I don't always finish my sentences, but when I do...